You replay the conversation for the 10th time today. What did they mean by that? Did you say the wrong thing? And now you're planning three different versions of what you'll say next time for a conversation that might never even happen. Or maybe it's 2 a.m. and instead of sleeping, you're making lists in your head. Things you need to do, things you should have done, things that might go wrong tomorrow. Your brain won't shut off. And the harder you try to stop thinking, the louder the thoughts get. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. And here's what most people don't realize. Overthinking isn't actually about thinking too much. It's about something that happened in your brain a long time ago that never got turned off. Most people think overthinking is just a personality trait. But that's not what the research shows. Chronic overthinking, the kind that keeps you up at night and makes simple decisions feel impossible, is actually a response pattern. Your brain learned to do this for a reason, and understanding why can completely change how you deal with it. So what's actually happening in your brain when you overthink? Your brain has this structure called the amygdala. Think of it as your alarm system. Its job is to scan for danger and sound the alarm when it finds something threatening. When you're in actual danger, this is great. But here's where it gets interesting. Your amygdala can't tell the difference between a real threat and a perceived one. It can't tell the difference between a lion chasing you and an awkward silence in a conversation. To your amygdala, uncertainty feels like danger. When your amygdala detects a threat, real or imagined, it triggers your stress response. Your body floods with cortisol and adrenaline. And your thinking brain gets told to solve the problem fast. So your brain starts running through scenarios. What could happen? What should I do? What if this goes wrong? It's trying to think its way to safety. It's trying to eliminate the uncertainty. The problem is, most modern uncertainty can't be solved by thinking. You can't think your way to knowing exactly what someone meant. You can't think your way to controlling the future. But your brain doesn't know that, so it keeps trying, over and over. That's the loop. Neuroscientist Dr. Judson Brewer calls this the uncertainty loop. Your brain is stuck in a cycle. Uncertainty triggers anxiety. Anxiety triggers thinking. Thinking doesn't resolve the uncertainty, which creates more anxiety. Round and round. But why do some people get stuck in this loop more than others? This is where your early experiences come in. If you grew up in an environment that was unpredictable, where you never quite knew what mood someone would be in, where the rules kept changing, or where you had to constantly monitor situations to stay safe, your brain learns something crucial. Uncertainty means danger. Maybe you learned that analyzing every detail could help you predict what was coming. If you could just figure out the pattern, think it through enough, maybe you could stay one step ahead. Maybe you could prevent the bad thing from happening. For a child in that situation, overthinking isn't a flaw. It's a survival skill. It's your brain's way of trying to create safety in an unsafe situation. And it probably did help you navigate difficult situations. But that pattern gets hardwired. Your brain learns, when things are uncertain, I need to think my way to safety. And even when you're grown, even when you're in situations that are actually safe, that pattern is still running in the background. Research on attachment theory shows this clearly. Children who grew up with inconsistent caregiving often develop anxious attachment, and a core feature is overthinking, especially in relationships. Your brain is still trying to predict and control outcomes because it learned early on that unpredictability was dangerous. So what does this look like in everyday life? It shows up when someone says we need to talk, and your brain immediately runs through every possible scenario. Before the conversation even happens, you've lived through it 50 times. It shows up when you make a small mistake and can't let it go. Your brain keeps replaying it, not because the mistake actually matters that much, but because uncertainty about how others perceived it triggers that old alarm system. It shows up as analysis paralysis. You can't make a decision because you're trying to think through every possible outcome, trying to guarantee the right choice. Most decisions don't have a perfect answer, and your brain can't accept that. It shows up at night. During the day, you can distract yourself. But when you lie down to sleep, all those unresolved uncertainties come flooding in. Your brain sees the quiet as an opportunity to finally solve all these problems, except it can't. And here's the exhausting part. Overthinking doesn't just tire out your mind. It activates your stress response, which means your body is constantly in a low-level state of fight or flight. This is why chronic overthinkers often feel physically tired, why they might have stomach issues or tension headaches. It's not just mental. And then there's the shame that often comes with overthinking. People who overthink often feel broken. They compare themselves to others who seem to just go through life without all this mental noise, and they think something is wrong with them. But here's what I need you to hear. You're not broken. Your brain learned it to protect you the best way it knew how. The overthinking made sense once. It served a purpose. It's just that the circumstances that required it are probably not your reality anymore. The problem isn't that you think too much. The problem is that your alarm system is still set to threat levels that don't match your current life. Your brain is still looking for danger in places where there isn't any. So what do you do about it? First, understand that you can't just think your way out of overthinking. You need to work with your nervous system, not just your thoughts. Start by recognizing when you're in the loop. Notice when your mind goes into that spinning mode. You don't have to stop it. Just notice it. Name it. Oh, I'm in the uncertainty loop again. Oh, I'm in the uncertainty. Then instead of engaging with the thoughts, bring your attention to your body. Take a few deep breaths. Notice where you're holding tension. This is neuroscience. You're literally signaling to your amygdala that you're safe right now. Practice tolerating uncertainty. This is hard, but it's the real work. Your brain wants guarantees. But life doesn't work that way. Start small. Make a decision without overthinking it. Let a text go without analyzing it. Sit with the discomfort of not knowing. What you're doing is retraining your brain. You're teaching your amygdala that uncertainty doesn't always mean danger. This takes time. Your brain has been running this pattern for years, maybe decades. It won't change overnight. And honestly, for most people, professional help makes a huge difference. A therapist who works with anxiety or trauma can help you identify your specific triggers and develop strategies that work for your brain. The goal isn't to never think about things. The goal is to break the loop. To be able to think about something, reach a natural conclusion, and move on. To trust that you don't need to have everything figured out to be okay. If you're someone who overthinks, I want you to know this. The part of you that learned to think everything through, to analyze every possibility, to stay alert to every potential problem, that part was trying to keep you safe. It was doing its job. But you're not in that situation anymore. You don't need that level of vigilance. You don't need to solve every uncertainty before it becomes a problem. Your brain can learn a new way. It can learn that it's okay to not know, that it's okay to be uncertain, that you can handle whatever comes without having to think through every possible version of it first. It's hard work. It takes time, but it's possible, and you deserve that peace. If this resonated with you, please hit that subscribe button. And if you want to support these deep dives into psychology, consider becoming a channel member. I genuinely appreciate your support.